good afternoon. Right then, it's final call of our one-day special, but most of you throughout the course of the 24 hours have been going for the complete collection, where you get a wonderful saving and you get lots of extras included as well. Before we get going, of course, let me introduce you to Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, good afternoon, Alex.
Good afternoon. Yes, yes. So as I've been saying, this is the last hour.
Last hour, yes. Good afternoon, everybody.
And this is your autumn release part 2.
Yes, it is, yes. So all about nature again, and it coordinates with part 1 beautifully. And I'll actually be doing more demonstrations when I leave the studios. I'll actually do YouTube videos, etc. on social media. So it's not a case I'll disappear from here and then not promote more and give more ideas. So I shall do that on social media anyway. But yes, it's just, I love the varying sizes with this release. The fact that we've got the A4, the A5, the A7. It just means that you've got a whole mix from part 1 and part 2, and it means that you can get contrast in your designs as well, and also your layers. So I'm really pleased with the fact that we've got all those different, you know, sizes in the stamps.
Nice. Well, first off, let's talk about the big one. So this one is your A4 set of stamps. So we've got clocks and then those wonderful florals. What made you decide to team those two genres, if you will?
It was because I'd got the image, I'd taken a photograph of a clock, of a vintage clock that I'd got, and when I'd got the clock, I was thinking, what do I want to put with it? I'm always trying to think of other things that will go with my florals.
Yes.
But also so that the florals don't look too disjointed with whatever's in the background. But also so that you can use, like for instance, that background with all the clocks on.
This one?
Yes. That one, obviously you can use it with any floral from the range, whether it was the beginning releases to the end releases, that will go with anything. But also, I'm aware that obviously, if you don't want to just do flowers, you can create masculine cards with that. So it's just trying to make it so that the stamps, I know we all use the word versatile, but it is actually important that when you're spending your money on the stamps, that they are actually versatile and they're going to be used for lots of things. And that's the idea between the clocks and the flowers. But then when I'm designing like a big stamp like that, I can't just put one image on and not have continuity. So I couldn't just stick the clock on and not have other elements that coordinate with that. So like the sentiments are important. So that whether you use timeless with the clocks or not, you could still put timeless with flowers on their own.
Absolutely.
So it's just so that you've got that continuity.
Oh, it's nice. It says, time is measured by special moments, and indeed it is. Amongst the undergrowth, and there's our lovely badger. It's cool,
and now
it?
I just need to point out there, Alex, that amongst the undergrowth is actually attached to the badger. Now, the reason that's attached is because Tracy tries to squeeze in as much as possible. When you get that stamp home, you can just cut that round that. So that you've got two separate stamps. So the idea is Tracy's trying to squeeze in as much in that A4 stamp as possible. And I thought that you would rather have the sentiment than a gap. So that's why it's there.
Wonderful. Then we've got our A5 stamp set. So this is the keys, isn't it?
Yes. Now, this is the key botanicals. Now, the hedgehog and the squirrel, some of my followers asked if they could have a hedgehog and a squirrel. And actually, I hadn't thought about it and thought, you know, what a good idea with the flowers. And sometimes, you know, they take part in your journey, your creative journey. And because they take part in that, it's nice if you can listen to what they say and actually put some of their ideas in your designs. But still keep it true to your style. So with the hedgehog and the squirrel, the idea is, again, if you've got that floral image and you want to add something else, that squirrel and that hedgehog is not too much. It just adds a little touch to the rest of the designs.
Nice. Then we've got our beautiful violet. Here we go.
And now, when I draw, I often draw on paper. Just old-fashioned. I draw on paper. You know, I'm not computer savvy, and it doesn't interest me.
No, me neither.
So I draw on paper. So with this image, I drew it very fine lines. That's how I wanted it. I wanted it to be delicate, because then if you like clean and simple designs, the lines around those flowers are not too bold and too bulky. There are places where I want those bold lines, but for this design I wanted the delicacy, because in the garden violets are not bulky. They've got nodding little heads and they're quite delicate. So I wanted the lines of my drawings to be delicate, and that's why the lines are a lot finer on that one.
Excellent. And then we've got our lovely little frosted one. Frosty, I think we called him.
Yes, Frosty, and we've got the other one as penguin. I get confused which one's which. But I wanted the penguins because I also like other things that mix with the flowers and the backgrounds.
Yeah.
And I always think these are a fun element that if you want to add a character for an anniversary card, a birthday, a winter anniversary, Valentine's, because you can just put the heart in the centre from the violet set, and then you've got that heart card. And I just like the fact that when I was designing it, I wanted to put one way and one the other.
Yeah.
And I wanted the background of the penguin to be open so that you can add your own backgrounds inside.
That's nice. And then we go on to the penguin.
Exactly, and that one, again, the larger one has got a design inside, but the smaller one hasn't, so that you can, you know, make it your own.
Yes.
So you can either keep it as it is, or you can add a background inside, so you can stamp things inside there. Again, those two stamp sets you can use all together, but imagine if you added it with the clocks.
Yes.
You know, you could have a New Year's card. You know, if you add it with the clocks, just think outside the box.
Yes.
And you could also have a very masculine card as well.
Absolutely. Well, he's got a little compass on his tummy.
Yeah. So if you've got like cogs and things,
yeah,
there's nothing stopping you putting cogs and then the penguin in the foreground.
Excellent. And last but not least, we've got our falling blossom. What a great background stamp.
I think sometimes background stamps like this can be overlooked, and it's a shame really, because when you use them on the gel press or anything like that, they come to life. That's when they come into their own, because they add that perfect little touch in the background, and they also stand on their own. Because if you just stamp that in multicolours, so if you did like a rainbow of colours,
that'd be beautiful.
Just added a sentiment, card done.
Done. Yep. Like that. Right, now, so that is officially your one-day special. It is £67.94. Now, we are really busy for the one-day special. We are 85% of the stock gone. And you've also got those two payments of £33.97. Now, that £5 saving, that carries over into the complete collection. So just hang on to that thought. 491965. Now, we also have a stencils and stamp collection. So we've got the crosses and the pluses. You've got your A4 stencils, you've got your 6x6, and then you've got your lovely little A7 stamps.
That's it,
haven't you?
A7 stamps. And Abs likes to do the stencils, and look, the way I do my stencils, you've got different sizes so that you've got composition within your design.
Yep.
And Abs does exactly the same with his stencils and his little A7 stamps. He wants it so that you can use them all together and they give a cohesive design. But what he wants you to do, whether you're looking at Bapasha's tomorrow, whether you're looking at Janet's with Janet tomorrow, or you're using mine, you can use them, mix and match with all your designs, so it works perfectly.
Excellent. So there you go. You can see you've got your two large stencils. There are the 6x6 and then the stamps either side. Now, again, you can see there's another £5 saving, so that carries over to the complete collection. So if you want everything that you've seen so far, all of the stamps and the stencils and the extra stamps, and as a little bonus, we're adding in the A7 and the A5 acrylic blocks, which are just perfect for so many of these stamps. You're getting a further £13. So realistically, we're talking £23 saving. To make it even better for you, we've put it on 3 flexi buys instead of 2. There you go, 3 flexi buy payments of £38.95. But do make sure you're checking out your baskets. This is the last time you're going to see this today. 899013 is your item number. Now, we've also got a happy hour deal. So for the next 50 minutes, we have got a border stamp. Now, this is incredibly useful. You've got your rings there. I love those two stamps that you get in that border collection. You've got a £3 saving. It's £9.99. So only up until the end of this hour at 5 p.m. this evening. 865952 is your item number. Do give us a call, or of course have a look at the website at thecraftstore.com. There's lots of pick and mixes on the website that have also been doing really well. I think one of them's got something crazy like a £21 saving, which is just bonkers there. So without further ado then, I'm going to hand over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Alice.
Welcome.
Do you know, there's never actually quite enough time. You think you've got loads of time when you do a one-day special, and you do loads of samples, but then there's still stamp sets that you haven't, individual stamps that you haven't been able to showcase. Because obviously you can't stick everything on one card and say there's the whole 47 stamps. But to showcase 47 stamps, I could do with 2 days solid, starting from 8 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. at night to fit it all in. So, but what I want to do this time is I want to showcase the badger, because we haven't showcased him, and I think it's just fabulous to use with your flower stamps. And I just think it's nice that we showcase him as well. So what I've got is I've got a 5.5-inch piece of square card. And again, like in the previous hour, I've added a circle to the centre of my card.
Cool.
I'm in a very good, slow mood.
You're feeling
Yeah,
chillaxed.
you know, well, you've been up at 5.
I know.
And by the time you get to 4, you think, if I can function at 4 o'clock, that's a plus.
You're doing well.
So what I'm doing first is I'm using weathered wood. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend the colour. We're just going to move this card out of the way so we don't splash anything.
Okay.
And I'm just going to blend this weathered wood just around my card. And I'm just creating a very simple background. Now, what I would do, I'm wobbling the whole table as well.
Oh, don't worry. I think
So if everything
all
goes
right.
crashing, we know why. But if I was at home, what I tend to do when I'm layering is I make sure that I layer on top of layer on top of layer.
Okay.
And then I go back and do it a second time. So I never add just one layer of ink. So you're never going to get a perfect blend unless, one, you add enough ink to your cut and dry foam or your ink blending tools.
Yeah.
Make sure you add enough ink, because the minute your ink starts wearing out into the cut and dry foam, it starts dragging.
Right.
So this is why you need to prime your cut and dry foam. And all I mean by that is give it a good layer of ink, and you'll just get a better blend. It doesn't look like it initially, so don't lose faith when you're blending. And it's great because your non-stick craft sheet just slides all over the place. So at the moment, it looks nothing special. And then what we're going to do, we're going to use prize ribbon just to give me a little bit more depth, just to give a little bit more darkness.
Are these inks or oxides, by the way?
These are oxides.
Oh, right, okay.
So these are opaque.
Yeah.
Rather than translucent, and they're opaque because they've got that pigment dye fusion. So just going to add that layer. And what I tend to do then is when I'm blending, I will go to the back to the lightest colour, and I will just blend the lightest colour over the top, and I will do this 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to do that today, but I will do it several times.
Okay.
And then what I will do is, first of all, we'll get a wipe just so that we can get ready to clean.
Cool.
Just because I can't stay in a messy area. And what we'll
I know
do
you're good.
is, I can't have a messy area. What we'll do is we'll spritz that with water.
Yeah.
And what you would do is you'd let that dry naturally.
Yeah.
So we'll place that on one side because we've got one we've done earlier.
Cool.
We're just going to wipe our area. And if we bring in one that we've done earlier.
Oh, that's very effective.
So you've got a lovely blending of the grey, the blue and the darker colour.
It's a lovely little shadow, isn't it? Or halo.
Yes. And trust me, in real life, you can actually see the darkness around the outer edge. Why can I not get it straight? When I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, it needs to straighten it. And I look like I've had a night on the tiles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my anti-static bag. And I'm going to use my anti-static bag mainly because even though this is dried overnight, I just want to make sure that whatever embossing I add is going to stick where I want it to stick and not all over the place. Now, for this design, I don't mind if I get little bits, frayed little bits that are just scatter here, there and everywhere, because that just adds to the design.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Quickie glue pen, and I'm just going to add some little dots just here, there and everywhere, which the cameraman will be saying, well, gee, thanks, Tracy. I can really see a lot of that.
To be fair, I can see it.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I can hear the cameraman, though. I bet he's thinking, oh, that's really clever, Tracy. I can't see a thing. So you just add in that Quickie glue. Just dot it around.
Yeah.
And all you have to remember with the Quickie glue pen is, I'm not going to do loads because obviously you will get bored of me doing that. But when I'm at home, I do quite a few.
Yeah.
And what you have to remember about the Quickie glue pen is that obviously when it's on, it helps, because I was going to say that when it's on there, it's blue. That really doesn't work
because it's blue. On blue
it's on blue card.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is give it a few moments just for it to dry clear. And once it goes clear, you can then add your embossing powders. And what I didn't do was save myself a scrap of paper. So let's use this. This will be fine.
You sure we can get you
one?
one?
Oh, no, it's fine. We can make do with this, no problem at all. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of the embossing powder, and I'm making it difficult for camera by not doing it downwards. Just adding, and you don't think it's adding much, but trust me, when you start to hit it, it will add to the design. And then we'll get on to our stamping.
Nice.
Just, of course, I've missed one there. I'm ever so pernickety when I'm making cards. I can't just chuck them together.
No, I'm the same though.
I'm terrible. Even when I'm demonstrating.
Yeah, I'll take days to make one.
I'm me. Yeah, I'm me. I'm terrible. So we're just going to heat the heat tool up, just so that it's warmed up. There's no point wafting that cold air. There's no point wafting that cold air across your card because it's going to do nothing. Yeah. So just heat your heat tool up. And hopefully it won't take like 20 minutes for it to actually heat up. I have to tilt it slightly so I can see whether it's melting. There we go.
Oh, there we are.
And just need to move your heat tool around. There's one there that's not gone. There we go. So just move that heat tool around.
It's lovely, just those little tiny flecks.
Just the tiny flecks. What that does is it adds a touch of opulence to your design.
Great word. Like that.
So it gives a bit of richness to that design. So just add that around there. Of course, it's funny because when you're doing live TV and you're doing heat embossing, it feels like you're standing here for half an hour.
Oh no, but I always find it mesmerising. I mean, I don't know anybody so far who says they don't like watching it or don't like heat embossing.
No, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm just a great believer that if you want your stamps to sing, it's important that you think about the little details. It doesn't matter whether you like clean and simple cards or like me, you like layered cards. Thinking about those little details, it's just important. Now, it doesn't matter about any strays of gold that you've got because that'll come into its own eventually when we actually do whatever else we're doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the flower from the A5 stamp set.
Okay.
And I'm going to stamp with my black Nocturne ink.
What type of flower is this, or can it be anything you want?
They're like sort of lantern flowers, and it's PHYL, and I can never pronounce it, but it's actually in the garden. And when they're in flower, they're orange, but then they go to, skeleton leaves. Yeah. So that shape goes like a skeleton leaf, and there's a little seed in the side. Yeah. They're stunning. You honestly should look them up. They're absolutely stunning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp this, and I take my time just to see exactly where I want it, and I want it here. And every card that you create or stamp always looks totally different. I can never create two cards exactly the same.
To be fair, I don't mind that. I think that's quite nice.
Yeah, it is. It makes it a little bit different, doesn't it? And there you've got your flower.
Beautiful.
So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my badger, and what I'm doing is I'm building up my design, just slowly building up the design. I'm just going to remove some of this embossing powder, just because it's just going to get in a complete mess. Then I'm going to stamp the badger. So again, inking up with my Nocturne ink.
Badgers are such lovely animals, aren't they?
We used to, for 10 years, we had a badger reserve just across the road because they couldn't build on the land because there was a badger reserve. Right. Yeah, so, and it was quite nice knowing it was there.
They're quite, no, is that a myth that they're quite slow?
I don't know, actually. I don't, do you know, this sounds awful, I've never seen a badger, as in properly seen one, face to face. Yeah. I've never seen one.
Oh.
So, but I believe they're quite big, aren't they? Yes. Yeah, they're quite big. Obviously, I watch nature programmes, so I know they're quite big. I know what they look like, but I've never come up close and personal to one.
My mum has one that comes into her garden.
Does she?
Yeah. Guess what she's called it?
What?
Boris.
Boris the badger. Hey, they've all got to be named. Yeah. It's just the way it is.
Oh, look at that detail.
And then you've got the detail on the badger. And I just want to just blot. I keep nudging this. I can see the whole counter going.
I promise you it's not going. Has he got too bad on him?
It's got Badger.
Oh, Badger, sorry.
B-A-D-G-E-R. It could be too bad, seeing as how, what's he called? Beasts, flowers and something other.
That's right.
So he could be a beast, you never know. So what I've got here is I've got another Badger that I've put some sisal nest behind, ready to stick down.
Lovely.
But what I want to do is I want to take this background stamp, guess where from? The toucan stamp set.
You're in love with that one.
Yes, I absolutely love the background one in this. And what I'm going to use is my weathered wood distress oxide ink, because I don't want it to be too overpowering. If it gets too overpowering, it's just too much for the card. So I'm just going to add some stamping in the background. So that's first generation.
Okay.
And I'm going to add some second generation just here.
Yeah.
It just adds a little bit of interest to your card. And I just take my time, because it is important where the placement goes.
Yes.
I'm actually taking my time and thinking about where that placement goes. She says as she frantically looks to where her other flower piece is. I have that many bits and pieces, little piece of flower. You see, it's the end of the day and you just... It doesn't matter, because I can cut another one out. It's not like it's the end of the world. So it's just, I cut bits out so that it's all prepped. But no.
Is it the head of the flower?
It's the head of the flower. You can't see it, can you?
I'm looking.
I've got Alex. It's not a problem, Alex. I can easily just cut that out. It's not a problem. We're on 4 o'clock and everybody will forgive me.
Oh, of course they will.
So we're just adding a little bit of stamping in the background.
Nice.
Just to add a little bit of that. And what I'm going to do, it doesn't take very long.
Cool.
It's important that we add some definition and some depth to this flower. So just...
And that's such a simple shape to cut out, isn't it?
It's not exactly difficult, is it, to cut the shape out. So we'll get those small scissors.
You know, as soon as you've done this, you'll find it, right?
Of course I will, because that's usually the case. You know why that is, don't you, Alex? Why I think I need that. This is when Tracy gets to 4 o'clock and she's losing the plot, because we don't need this for this card, it's for the next card.
Oh, fair enough.
So Tracy's actually losing the plot. You see, you get to 4 o'clock and you think, what? So what I want to do now is I want to take the gold embossing, and what I want to do, obviously I've got that gold embossing in the background.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to add a little bit to the flower image. And I'm just going to decide where that's going. Because it's that Nocturne ink, what I'm hoping is that some of that gold will stick. Yes, it has.
Lovely.
So some of that gold will just stick to the flower. It's only a tiny touch, but it's important because I don't want it to look like I've added that gold, but it doesn't look like it works together with the design because it's not showing anywhere else.
Understood, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is just heat that up and just go onto the flower.
Oh, that's going to look beautiful. The gold
Just with a
shines
touch
through.
of gold. There we go, it's just going now.
Yeah.
And can you see, if I tilt, can you see? You just see a little touch of gold.
Yeah.
And it just adds to the opulence of the design.
Beautiful.
And it just also looks like, in real life, it's actually, because it's raised, it looks like the flower's got some raised area within the flower.
Yeah.
So it works beautifully. So then what I'm going to do is I've got the badger, and just to give some dimension, take the sticky off, Tracy. It's not going to stick anywhere if I leave the sticky on, is it really? Just take that off. Then what I'm going to do, just to give some dimension to that card, just add that badger here in the foreground.
Lovely.
So what that does, it draws your eye in because
Absolutely.
that badger's in the background. So what I want to do now is just add a little touch of grey. The reason I'm adding a little touch of grey to the badger is because we've got this grey halo here. I just want to bring a little bit of grey in to the badger.
Yeah.
Just with the Inktense pencil. You're thinking about all the designs and making it cohesive. So just, again, I am using some pale colours, so sometimes it is difficult to pick up on camera.
Oh no, I can see that.
You
It's a nice little bit of shadowing,
just a little
isn't it?
bit of shadowing, and just wipe off the excess and then blend out that line, just so you've not got too much of a line. And it just makes the badger, it comes out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now, so we've got our sentiment. So as you can see, I've cut the badger away from the, amongst the undergrowth.
Yes.
So it makes it 2 stamps then. So it comes attached to your badger,
Got you.
but you just cut that away. I just wanted you to get as much as possible when you're buying an A4 stamp set.
Definitely.
So I'm going to stamp that amongst the undergrowth. Just bring this here. And then I'm just going to add this to my white card. You don't need to press too hard, your sentiments, because it's not a bulky sentiment that needs lots of pressure.
Yeah.
And also, if you put too much pressure on your sentiments, then you're going to end up with them squished.
Yeah.
And then you end up where your letters don't look quite clear and clear enough. So,
I've done that a lot.
oh, that's easy to do. We've
I think
all
you have
done
to
that.
get to know your stamps, don't you?
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
do have to get to know your stamps.
Oh, I always practice on a piece of copy paper first.
Yeah, just to understand the pressure.
Yeah.
Because every stamp is different. It depends how it's manufactured, the detail, the font.
Yeah.
The font can play a big part. So we've got amongst the undergrowth. And then I'm just going to add this. I want a touch of white to the card, just here. Just keeping the cluster here, so I'm keeping this so I've got open space. Open space doesn't mean that you have to have white open space. It can be open space in any colour, but open space is what gives you design. It brightens your design when it's not all too cluttered.
Yeah.
Just adding that grey Inktense pencil just around the edges. Like so. And we're just going to blend that out.
Oh, yes.
Just brings it to life a little bit
It
more.
looks like it's raised.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You can use your 3D foam if you want, but I like to do this. I just love the look.
And it's
of
even
the
flatter
shading.
than to post.
Yes,
But you don't
exactly.
think it is.
Yeah, exactly, because it looks 3D. It
Yes,
looks like
lifted.
it's, you know, there's more to it. And what I'm going to do then is add that to my white card blank. Doesn't the time go quick, Alex,
Oh,
when
I
you're
know.
demonstrating?
I know, but I get a little bit envious because I'm like, I really want to craft with you. Do you remember that lovely
The
craft along we
along.
did?
Do you know that feels like ages ago?
I think it is, though, to be fair.
Yeah, it feels like ages ago. That was lovely, that was. Just having a couple of hours together,
Yeah.
just to create a detailed project is lovely. You know, because it is difficult when you've got time constraints. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, you can't be on here for 10 hours, but it is difficult when you've got time constraints.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use that Salty Ocean ink. And so, you know, I haven't always got the right colour card to add to my mat and layers. That's just me personally. You might have hundreds of pieces of card. I don't. So what I tend to do is colour my white card
Good
in
idea.
the exactly same colour as I've used in the background. Then it coordinates beautifully because it's
Yeah.
exactly the same colour. Just add that around the outside.
And then you've got the perfect tone.
Exactly. It works
Yeah.
perfectly then. It all works together. Just clear that mess up. I've got a stamp over here, Alex, that's no idea why it's all over the way over there. And then I wonder why I can't find things. So I'm just going to add this to the next layer. It's nice if you see the cards completely finished.
Oh, I agree.
You can just see the whole concept and what's going on
Yes.
in my mind. Because, I mean, I know it's sometimes difficult knowing what's going on in my mind. So I'm just adding that.
Yeah, perfect.
It just makes it pop
Yeah.
a little bit more. And I also like the viewers to see a proper, you know, what I think is a professional demonstration, just so that you can see how your products work.
Yeah.
And actually what you're paying for as well.
Yeah, indeed.
So we're just going to add this.
Do you know the size of your card blank?
That is a 7-inch card blank.
Right.
Sorry, I was thinking, what's that? Yeah, 7 inches.
Great stuff.
Mainly because I built up smaller, narrower mats and layers, but I wanted this bold white because it made everything pop and it echoed what was here and what's here.
Oh, it's beautiful, Tracy.
And that, let me just show you, there's one thing I added on this sample, but I wanted to, is I used Absy's stencil just to add a few crosses in the background in the first card, just to add some of that, but just so they look a little bit different. And I've cut that one a little bit bigger and that narrower, so you can just change it up a little bit.
Love it. Thank you, Tracy.
You're very
really
welcome.
Enjoyed that. Nice then. So I'll give you a quick recap of your one-day special because we are now limited stock for our one-day special. Green is on the screen. Limited stock for this. So you've got all of those beautiful stamps. You have got your clocks and flowers. That's the biggie. There we are. You've got your key botanicals. And then we come down to our violet, which is down there. Then we've got our frosty, our penguin, and our falling blossom. They are absolutely beautiful. Now you can spread the cost. 2 payments of £33.97, and there is a £5 saving that will carry over to the complete collection. Then we've also got the stencil and stamp bundle if you just wanted to go for those. You've got your 2 A4 stencils of the crosses and the pluses. And then you've got your 6x6 stencils, and then either side you can see you've got the A7 stamps. If you want to go for those, £46.94, and there is a £5 saving again that carries over to the complete collection, and it's on FlexiBuy as well. However, if you want the lot, absolutely we can offer this to you with a really nice little saving, and as a little bonus we'll also add in the A7 and the A5 acrylic blocks. Now that £10 saving, the 5 and the 5 carries over, and then you've got a further £13 saving. So realistically, we're looking at £23 saving, and it's also on FlexiBuy. 3 payments of £38.95. Ross read my mind because yes, I want to show some samples because the design team have done brilliantly. This is by Joe Rice. How sweet is this for a Christmas decoration? Although, as Tracy's been saying throughout the course of the one-day special, don't think about penguins just for Christmas. It can be for any time of year because they're just such majestic creatures. I mean, this one, which has been done by Debbie Martin, I mean, that could be a party invite, it could be for New Year's, it could be a birthday, it could be anything you like. This, I love this, by Philippa, and she has pressed her falling blossom, I think was it clay?
It's a paper cast.
Oh, was it paper cast?
Paper cast with tissues.
Oh, do you know, I've never seen that done.
Yeah, I've done paper cast. I did it here a couple of times in shows.
Ooh.
It's just layering your tissues onto your stamp with watered down PVA glue.
Oh.
Yeah, it creates a wonderful paper cast. But
Interesting.
Philippa and Brian sometimes do it in a different way to create like a mould in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, is that clay?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. But look at all the layers, the clocks, that beautiful flower in that forefront. That's beautiful. This one's another one by Debbie. See, clean and elegant, beautiful design. Here is another one, and this one again is by Philippa. Lovely composition. You can see all of those sentiments around. Another clean and beautiful design. So letting the flower pop because it's in the black, but then you've got those beautiful oranges that have been stenciled through the pluses. That one's by Janet. Oh, I don't think I'd seen this one, by Philippa. That's cool. That's quite grungy. I like that one. Oh, I don't think I'd seen this one either. This one's by Debbie. Lovely with those clocks. That could be a nice masculine card if you wanted to. And then I'll do one more. No, maybe 2 more. Because this one is by Philippa. Again, you can just imagine the badger. He's just through the undergrowth at night. There he is, hunting out some food. And then last but not least, I really like this one as a dramatic one. That one is by Jo Elliott. It's like a spotlight in the middle of the night, isn't it? It's
very classy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Jo's very clever with her colouring as well. And she always domes her images so that it's got a natural 3D element. If you feel it, it's naturally domed because of the adhesive she's used underneath.
Yes.
So she pays attention to detail with the colouring and a shading, which works beautifully. Very classy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay, so if you'd like to go for the complete collection, remember this is the last time you're going to see it today. 3 payments of £38.95. Item number is 899013. Now, have a look at the website. We do have some pick and mixes that have got the most amazing discounts on. So we've got some A5 pick and mixes, the border pick and mixes, and also the A6, and they've all got amazing deals. Let's have a look at the A5s. I mean, look at that. It should be £38.97. It's £17.97 for the two.
Is that half price
I
then?
think it's about that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
much
half
what's
price,
the
yeah.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
half
that's so good. So you're picking any two. The trouble is, which two are you going to pick? That is the trouble, isn't it?
There's not many to choose from, is there?
No, not too many, just a few. Yes, this one is a £21 saving, so actually it's better than half price. Amazing. There you go. Oh, and don't forget our happy hour, please, because you've only got 25 minutes remaining to get that. We'll just find it on the website for you. 25 minutes remaining to get. Here we go. Is it right to the end? Oh, there it is.
Of course, it's right at the end.
Of course it is. There's that wonderful border stamp set. Such a good deal there, £9.99. So please do check out your baskets. 25 minutes remaining to get it at that price. Okie dokie. Oh, are you going to use the gel?
I'm going to use the gel press.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
So I've kept saying that you can use the background stamp on the gel press, so we're going to use it. So what I've got is salvaged patina, cracked pistachio and salty ocean. And what I'm going to do is just use my brayer and brayer the ink across mainly the centre of the brayer. Just so you can see, it's mainly across the centre. I've not gone right to the edges. It just stops me from getting rough edges across the gel press. So I'm just going to add this ink and I'm going to pick up more. It's about adding layers again to your gel press.
Yeah.
Can you see how beautifully clean my gel press is? Yeah,
Well,
it's washed frequently, not. So what I'm going to do then is just go to my next colour, which is cracked pistachio. Sorry, you just want to see this here in camera. And I've got the cracked pistachio along here.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't want to cover every area because you've laid that colour underneath.
Sure.
Just brayer off the excess here.
Okay. See, when this goes down, you think there's nothing on there, do you?
And there's more than you think.
Yes.
Then we're going to use salty ocean. Let's bring it into camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. So just take that salty ocean. Now this is a more powerful colour, as you can see on the brayer. So don't go and overpower everything with that salty ocean.
Cool.
And then just... So now you're creating another background on the side. And can you see when I brayer, I lift the brayer up. I sort of use a flicking motion. And what I don't do is just give up. I keep rolling that ink over so that it gives me more depth. Now what I want to do is I want to go to the lightest colour again. So I'm just going to pick up that lightest colour again. So just going over my ink pad. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of that light colour, just so it doesn't get lost in the background. And then just add it to this layer.
You can use that piece of card as well.
Absolutely can use that piece of card. So what I'm going to do then is use our little A7 stamp set.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, and I'm glad you can remember the name, because like, what's that one called? So I'm just going to press lightly on the gel press. Can you see I'm also lifting the stamp like this, just so that I don't get any harsh edges. And I'm just stamping randomly around the background. But obviously I've got ink on here, so if we spritz that with water,
cool,
and we add that to this background.
Cool.
But look at that in the background. It doesn't help if you don't put it in the centre.
And it almost appears as well.
Yeah, I just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But you've got a lovely background here that you've got for another card now. And just give that stamp a nice clean. So as you can see, you've got a beautiful background there that's just made from the leftovers.
I'd be popping the penguins on that.
Spot on. Which is what I did on another sample. I did put the penguins on, so great minds think alike. What I've got here is I've got a piece of 4.5 inch by 6.5. Why am I lifting that up? 4.5 inch by 6.5 inch piece of card.
Okay.
And what I've done is I've taped off the outer edges with low-tack tape.
Right.
I know you don't need to watch me doing that because there's nothing more boring. And what I'm going to do is place this on to my gel press.
Oh, good, you're going to get a nice white edge crisp border.
Yes, we'll get a nice crisp border. So just rub over. And then if we remove I was thinking, why is my tape coming off? It's because I'm pulling it off. And what you can see is, if the camera can come in closely, you can see here that you've got the details of the stamp.
Oh, he's coming in on camera.
That's fantastic. That shows that background stamp perfectly. Can you see it in the background? It looks beautiful.
Nice.
Absolutely beautiful. Now, what I would suggest you do then is, you've got this low-tack tape, and obviously you've got all that ink over it. If you don't want to get in a mess, just wipe that ink off.
Okay.
Because it's never going to dry on there.
Nope.
So all you're going to do is transfer that ink in a complete mess all over your card. So just while you're creating, just remove that ink. And also, you've still got some ink on your gel press, so you can use that again.
Okay.
Spritz your gel plate with some water, and you'll get another print. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take my, let me just find my mask. What I'm going to do is create a little bit of a masked area within this piece. So I love that background. I just love that background. So what I'm going to do, and on my other piece, there was a lot more of the dark blue on my first, the actual sample I created. So what I'm going to do is make sure I don't overpower this with too much dark colour.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to change it a little bit. On my original one, I used the prize ribbon, but on this one, I'm going to use the salty ocean.
Cool.
Mainly because that salty ocean is a little bit softer in colour. Only just. So I'm just going to lift that up a little bit. Do I want it there? I'm sorry, I have to talk to myself.
That's all right.
And I'm going to start here in the centre and drag the colour out.
Just want a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. And move your card. Don't try and tilt your hands all over the place. Move your card around, just to create a spotlight. I've done spotlights for a long time, and they do create another element of interest in your card. So just go around, and you can add as much or as little ink as you want, but I don't want to overpower this design too much. So it just creates me a spotlight. But that background, in the colour in the background, is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to wipe my hands, Alex, because my hands are in a total mess. In fact, I think I've got more blue on my hand than I might have on the card.
Turning into Leonie.
Yeah, exactly. I've always got blue-coloured hands, or like orangey colour hands, so, and it's not a good look. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take my black ink. Let's just grab some scrap card. And at the same time, you could be stamping your other piece that you created, your other background.
Yes.
So let's stamp this at the same time, because it seems a shame not to. And what you can do, so ink your background stamp from the Toucan stamp set.
Yep.
And just stamp onto a piece of scrap card once, twice. And then I'm going to stamp on my card once, which gives you a second generation, well, that would be third generation. Add a little bit more. So it's getting lighter and lighter. And then we're going to do the same again.
Yep.
So stamp first generation, because I just don't want to overpower that design too much. I want this text to be there, but as a mere suggestion rather than overpowering something.
Yeah.
And while we're here, we'll just stamp the other background. And we'll just go on to this one with the background stamp. And just, at the same time, you're creating another background that you can use with one of your flowers. So do I need to keep this on? No, I don't. So what we can do now is we can remove our washi.
Yay.
And it's actually remembering to remove it in the right order. Oh, I got that in the right order.
That's good.
And now it's just remembering, when you've got mucky hands, not to go and place it
right in the middle of your
right in the middle of your card.
Yeah.
Because trust me, that is so easy to do. And pull your low-tack tape away from you, because then it doesn't snag your card.
That's good. Oh, I love that open space, yeah.
And look at that.
Really frames draws your eye in, like you say.
Yeah, and it's nice and fresh, isn't
Yes,
it?
nice.
There's just a freshness about it. And then what we're going to do, let's just check on time.
We've got a good 12 minutes or so.
Brilliant. So what we're going to do then is we're going to stamp our flower that we stamped in the previous demo. We're going to ink that up with the black Nocturne ink. And I'm just going to decide where I want this. So I think I'm going to place around about there. It just sometimes takes me ages to actually place the stamp down. Because I'm like, oh, I need to get it in the right place.
Yeah.
So I often hover over the card for ages. And your stem isn't very thick, so don't press on the stamp too much.
Okay.
Again, mainly because it'll just squish, and you don't want it to squish out. And look, Alex.
You found it.
The one I wanted.
Excellent. Where
That's
was
because
it?
I was on the wrong because it was on the other card,
Oh,
not
I
the,
see, fair
because
enough.
I'm such a drip and I'd gone one card ahead. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to add this 3D element with the flower,
Yeah.
I just want to add a touch of shading around this flower before I place the 3D element on. I just want to add that on. And we're just going to blend that out, just so that when we add the flower, just a little bit more water. I think my water brush is waterless. Actually, it's unscrewing as well.
Oh, careful.
It's working well. So just add that little bit of shading around there, just so that we can see it when we add the 3D element, like so. We're just going to take the flower head and I'm going to squash and break the fibres in the card, just so it looks a little bit more realistic. Just to add some 3D foam. And why didn't I use my non-stick scissors so that it doesn't stick? Don't ask.
One time it'll be a fine.
Yeah.
A one-off.
A one-off. So then I'm going to just let me trim that a little bit because I don't want the white showing. Even on telly, I can be quite pernickety when it comes to things hanging over the edge. And we're just going to give that a little bit of dimension, just to make it stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, I can really see that. And especially with the shadowing around it. Yeah.
I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow here, just so that pops a little bit more. And it looks, I don't want it to look like it's plonked and not grounded. So I just need it to be a little bit grounded. That's just me. Then we've got the little hedgehog. So we're going to stamp our hedgehog. And he's a bit of a scruffy hedgehog.
I know, I really like him.
He's been out in the garden, so he's a little bit scruffy.
He's been through some brambles and
Exactly,
things.
yeah. So he's, you know, as long as he's well fed, just a bit scruffy, that's
He's got
all.
such a lovely look on his face. He's very happy.
Yes, he is. He's happy. He's just like me. Very happy soul. So we're just going to add this. I nearly called it a squirrel then. No, Tracy, this is a hedgehog. Just add that to the base. Just allow that ink to sit on there before you lift it, and then we've got our little hedgehog. And of course, we just want to ground him a little bit, so he doesn't look like he's floating in midair against that flower. And I love it because a bit of the text has appeared just in the body here, which works beautifully for me.
Now he's grounded.
Yeah, he's grounded. And then from my I'm thinking the wrong stamp set, the A4 stamp set.
Yeah.
Special moments. Hang on. Time is measured by special, like I didn't even know the order that it came in. Time is measured by special moments, and that's from the A4 stamp set.
Great stuff.
So we're just going to add that here.
I do really like that expression.
Yes.
Just makes you think. It's very thoughtful, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And sometimes, you know, there's occasions when you don't want happy birthday. You need something else.
That's extra special.
Yeah, and also if you're into your journaling and you're not into card making, then these kind of sentiments, they've got meaning behind them. So just add by special moments. Sometimes I've got a terrible habit that when I've got sentiments, I have to read them out, even though I know what they say because I design them. But when I've got them, it's like I have to read them out. It doesn't matter where I am, whether I'm doing a workshop or whatever I'm doing, I have to repeat what the sentiment says. It's just a bad habit of mine.
Oh no, it's nice.
So what we're going to do then is just add our shading.
Yeah, just to lift, just so it will pop a bit more.
Exactly, just finishes it off nicely. And again, always be aware, if you think you've got mucky fingers, just add a piece of kitchen roll while you're doing this, just around the edges, just to keep your fingers off your card.
Yeah, don't want to ruin that nice white border.
Exactly, because you've got a lovely white border there. You don't want to spoil that. So just add that here and here. And it just makes it pop when you add.
And again, it's going to make it look like it's on 3D foam pads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like I was saying before, every card is a little bit different. It doesn't matter how many times you make a card, even if you're copying a card that you've been inspired by, it's never quite the same because you add another little touch that might be in your style.
Yeah.
So it makes the card look a little bit different. Just turn that round. And I often turn my card, just makes it easier rather than trying to move my hand at funny angles.
Yeah. That's a nice way of working though.
It just makes it a little bit easier really. And I think it's also, you've got to be, when you're here, you've got to be aware of the camera really.
Yeah.
So it does make it that, if you keep pulling it towards you and out of the way, then nobody but yourself is going to see it. So what I'm going to do then is just add this to a black mat.
Yes.
Because it always makes it pop.
100%.
And it's surprising what a black mat does.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the same reason that you add black stamping, touches of black stamping, because it gives you that pop.
I think it's that stark contrast.
Yes, and it gives it some life as well if you add touches of black. So just add that touch of black. And then you've got your card blank, which is 5 inches by 7 inches.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a lovely special card to give to somebody.
I always like to put my heart and soul into whether I'm making a card, whether I'm making a journal page.
Yep.
And then just add that. Just add some white splatters.
Cool.
I never know which pen has got the...
I know you've got one that works and one that doesn't.
works and one... Oh, hang on.
Have you got the right one?
That, I must admit, that's a bit pathetic, but there you go. It's got a few white... Oh, no, they're working.
Yeah, yeah.
A few white splatters. And look at the difference in colours. And then I'll just show you that I've used some white enamel accents to finish it off. And that is your card finished.
Oh, nice.
See the enamel accents?
Oh, just
to
there.
finish it off.
Are you right to turn that last one to the camera? Because then we can give it a wiggle and see the...
Can you see the white? Enamel. The white enamel just gives it a 3D element. That's brilliant.
Yeah, look at that.
Just gives it a 3D element.
Wonderful. Again, that's another wonderful dreamy card.
Yeah, and the colours, they differ because I added more dark here.
Yes.
And it's lighter here.
Yeah,
so
really
it adds
like
a total
that.
contrast.
Fabulous. Right then, one last look. We've only got a couple of minutes remaining. So let's go through the one-day special. It is limited stock, brand new autumn release part 2. You can find part 1 on the website. But this is the brand new release launched yesterday at 6 p.m. So I'll run through the stamps that you get then. So we've got our first one. This is your A4 stamp set. It's lovely because you've got those wonderful, the clocks, mixed with those fabulous flowers, all sorts of different flowers. So like you said, Tracy, this could be a great one for a masculine card.
Exactly, it doesn't have to just be for feminine cards, and that's why I added that element, so that your stamps are not restricted. You can use it for different areas.
Excellent. And then look, here's the one where Mr. Hedgehog comes from. That our lovely scruffy Mr. Hedgehog.
Scruffy Mr. Hedgehog.
And I love the key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll be using that in some demonstrations on YouTube.
Great
because
stuff.
obviously it's difficult to show every element in 5 hours.
Absolutely. And squirrels as well that you've asked for. You've got your florals, you've got that lovely skeleton leaf that Tracy's just used, and then you've got some sentiments, essence of nature, and then you've got your hedgehog and your squirrel. So that's your A5, I think.
Yes, A5.
Good.
And then this one, the violet, is A6.
Lovely. So you've got your violet, and then what you've also got, along with the flower, which would be lovely to colour in, nice open space.
Yes, it colours beautifully.
You've got your days of the week, and you've got weekly, monthly, and then planners there, because, yeah, I think this would be great for a planner.
Yeah, especially if you were doing a planner or a calendar, a garden calendar, because next year when we come to January, all us gardeners are planning for the following year. So then you can write down your jobs in your journal then.
I like that a lot. 1 second, I'm just going to put this down. So then we've got our penguin. So the first one is our Frosty. Oh, hang on, let's get this the right way around. I'll just get the others in a second. There we go. And on here we've got Together, Chilly, and what's that say there?
Icy.
Icy, apologies, there you go. Can't read from the side,
It's
you see.
because the I, because you've got that typewriter font, you have an echo,
That's
like a shadow.
I was reading it this way and I was like, what's this? There you go. So you've got your beautiful penguins, and I love he's got numbers in the centre of his
sort
tummy.
of ready reckoner.
Yeah, and then we've got this one. Let's turn him around. So again, you've got lots of things on there like cool, me and you, hugs. Brrr.
But I think
like
it's
that
great
one.
because the smaller one's got nothing inside his body. So then you can add other little elements inside there that you want to add.
Lovely. And then our final stamp in the one-day special is that falling blossom. So we've seen how good a background stamp that is, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It works beautifully. I was really pleased with it on the gel press.
Nice. So your one-day special itself, that is limited stock. Please check out your basket. It will be going back up at 6 p.m. this evening. You can spread the cost, 2 payments of £33.97. Now, if you want the complete collection, that is the stamps you've just seen, and you have got the stencils. Now, if you're to buy the one-day special, there's a £5 saving that carries over. If you're to buy the stencils and the stamps, there's another £5 saving that carries over. So that's £10 so far. In the complete collection, you'll get a further £13 saving, and you will get your A7 acrylic block, and you will get your A5 acrylic block. 3 payments of, I think that was £38 and some change. There we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, everybody, for your support.
And happy Christmas then.
Yes, thank you. I'm not back to the new year.
Yeah, we'll see you in the new year. As I said, do check out your basket. Fantastic deals, and you will enjoy